My name is Elena, and this isn't the kind of story I ever thought I would tell. It's the kind that creeps into your mind during long, quiet nights, the kind that lingers unresolved, like a melody left hanging in the air. It's a story of love that should have never been, yet somehow it shaped the woman I've become. I met Julian when I was 30. He was younger, just 22, but wise in ways that most men my age never were. There was something calm about him, a steadiness I had been missing in the whirlwind of my own chaotic life. I didn't fall in love with him right away. No, it was slower than that. Like sunlight through window blinds, gradually warming the room. Back then I was married to Alex. Our relationship was already fraying, the love that once held us together now reduced to routine dinners and cold silences. We were two strangers sleeping in the same bed, separated not by distance, but by disappointment. Julian entered my life like a quiet whisper, a friend of my younger cousin, staying with us while he sorted out college applications and job interviews. From the moment he walked into our house, there was something magnetic about him, not in a loud, arrogant way. He was soft-spoken, respectful, but his eyes always looked like they knew more than they let on. First it was simple. Conversations over morning coffee. Shared glances across the living room while Alex buried himself in work emails. He'd help me carry groceries, clean up after dinner, even change the light bulbs Alex always forgot. Little things. Innocent things. But one evening everything shifted. It was raining that night, a soft drizzle tapping against the windows. Alex had left for a 3-day business trip, and the house felt unusually quiet. Julian and I sat on the couch, a movie playing in the background, though neither of us was paying attention. The lights were low, the air filled with the scent of freshly brewed tea and something unspoken. "I never thanked you," I said softly, "for always helping out." Julian smiled, his eyes resting on me longer than they should have. "You don't have to thank me. I like being here." His voice was deep, gentle. It settled into me like a warmth I didn't realize I needed. For a moment neither of us spoke. I could feel the tension forming, not the dangerous kind, but the kind that makes your heart beat in unfamiliar ways. He turned to face me. "Elena, can I ask you something?" He nodded. "Are you happy?" I wasn't expecting that. The question landed like a stone in still water. I looked away, searching for an honest answer. "I don't know," I whispered. "I think I forgot what happy feels like." He didn't press me. He just sat there, his presence speaking more than words ever could. I remember thinking, why does he see me so clearly when the man I married no longer does? That night I didn't sleep. I kept thinking about his question, about how someone so young could make me confront feelings I had buried for years. The next few days blurred into each other. Julian and I kept our distance, but the air between us was charged. It wasn't physical, not yet, but it was emotional, electric. Every word, every glance felt like a thread pulling us closer. Then came the night that changed everything. It was late. I had just come out of the shower, wrapped in my robe, my hair damp. I found Julian in the kitchen, washing dishes. I stood silently for a moment, watching him, my heart unsteady. "You should get some rest," I said softly. He turned, his eyes locking onto mine. "You too." I walked closer, intending to leave a cup on the counter. But as I passed him, our hands brushed. Just a touch. Barely anything. But it felt like everything. I looked up, and he was already watching me. There was something raw in his gaze. Not hunger. Not lust. It was something far more dangerous, yearning. "Elena," he whispered, almost like a plea. "I don't want to cross a line, but—" He didn't finish. I stood frozen, not because I didn't understand, but because I did. Perfectly. "You haven't," I whispered. "Yet." He stepped closer, slow, deliberate, careful not to touch me. "I think about you," he admitted, voice low. "More than I should." Closed my eyes. "I know." His hand hovered near mine, trembling slightly. He didn't reach for me. He waited, letting me choose. And I did. I reached first, only to gently hold his hand. Nothing more. No kiss, no touch beyond that. But in that moment, the line we hadn't crossed felt more fragile than ever. "I'm married," I reminded him, though my voice lacked conviction. "I know," he said. "That's why I haven't done anything." But his eyes said everything else. That he would. That if I asked him to, he would shatter every rule he believed in. I left the kitchen without another word. That night, sleep came and went, haunted by the heat of a hand I still felt on mine. In the days that followed, things were quieter. We kept our distance physically, but emotionally we were already entangled. I started noticing things. How he'd linger a second longer when handing me something. How his voice softened when saying my name. How his gaze always found mine in a crowded room. Then, just as quickly as it had begun, everything unraveled. Ophie. Julian had known her before. She was a childhood friend, maybe more. I hadn't asked. I hadn't wanted to know. But when she came to visit, I knew I had no place in whatever history they shared. She was beautiful, confident, younger. She fit into his world in a way I never could. I watched them from a distance. How they laughed, how effortlessly they stood close without the fear of consequences. It broke something in me. I tried to act normal, to hide the way my stomach twisted every time I saw them together. But Julian noticed. "Are you okay?" he asked one evening, catching me alone in the garden. I nodded, too afraid to speak. "You've been distant," he added. "So have you," I whispered. He looked away. "It's not what you think, isn't it?" I asked, the words sharper than I meant them to be. "She's beautiful, young, free. Everything I'm not." Julian stepped closer, shaking his head. "Don't say that. You don't see yourself the way I do." "And how is that?" He hesitated. "As someone I admire. Someone I feel drawn to, even when I shouldn't." My chest tightened. "Then why her?" "Because she's safe," he admitted. "Because you make me want things I'm not ready for." That's when I realized. It wasn't rejection. It was fear. Of the depth we'd stumbled into. Of what we'd become. I didn't cry. I didn't yell. I simply nodded and walked away. Julian left a week later. Said he needed time. Said he had decisions to make. Alex never noticed. Or maybe he did but didn't care enough to ask. Months passed. Life resumed its ordinary pace. But nothing inside me was ordinary anymore. I had tasted something real, something terrifying. I had seen what love could look like, even if only in glimpses. Then, one afternoon I found a letter. It was in my favorite book on the shelf. One only Julian had seen me read. "Lena, I don't know what the future holds, but I know I'll always remember you as the one who changed everything. I'm sorry I couldn't be braver. Maybe someday, when timing is kinder, we'll meet again. Julian." I read it twice. Then a third time. My hands trembled, but my heart was still. Sometimes love isn't meant to be fulfilled. Sometimes it just needs to be felt. Deeply, achingly, beautifully. And maybe that's enough.